So that's synchronicity. Hey everyone, it's Masculine Geek number 33. Welcome to this Wednesday's broadcast. Welcome back everyone who's watching later, everyone who's watching now. You are in for a treat today. We have the illimitable Aaron Clarey, Captain Capitalism himself, and a good friend of mine, Gabe, who is a modern day entrepreneur and Renaissance man. He is the co-owner, creator, and operator of a game development and software company called Quadratron. Gabe, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us what's up and explain what's going
on? Sure. Well, I guess I'll just talk about Quadratron. Me and my buddy Christian a few years ago we met in at a game jam, and we started making.
Well, hang on. What's a game jam?
What's a game jam?
Yeah, what's a game jam?
You know, it's like a band. They get together and they jam. No, it's like an event. There's tons of them. There's a really big one called Global Game Jam, which is across the entire world, and it's a weekend where game developers get together and for 48 hours try to make a game, or games, I guess you could say, because everyone makes their own games.
Gotcha.
But you get together in little groups, and it's kind of free form. You can like go in and out of groups if you want, or you can just stick to a single group or a team or whatever and work on a game.
Gotcha.
So Christian and I met, and some other people that would become friends. So we met at this game jam and made some silly game. But afterwards, every weekend or once a month or something like that, we would get together and work on games together, and pretty much started cutting our teeth on game engines, the modern game engines that everyone's starting to get involved with. For us, it was primarily Unity. And then that was about 10 years ago. And then we were making little things and just fun stuff on the weekends. I was still at my day job, but at some point I quit the day job and decided I wanted to be a game developer full time. So Christian and I started working together. Well, he was working somewhere else in another game company, and that company didn't last. And we were just kind of like not knowing what to do. I'd taken a couple of years to figure out what I was doing and working with a bunch of different people. And we worked on Christian and I worked on another game jam together, and a game came out of it called Threshold. And
I remember the artwork for that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty damn cool. Everyone loved it, and we were gonna like try to work more on it. And during our off hours or our time available, we would work on it. And I was working in Philadelphia in this co-working space with a bunch of other game developers, and Christian would come there irregularly at first, but then he got a desk there too, and we started working together more closely. And then we both ran out of money. So
it's good motivation.
Being an indie game developer, it does not guarantee you any kind of success or money. So we decided that we needed to figure a plan out. So we ended up just miraculously meeting someone that needed some people to create a simulation for them in Unity. And for a year, we worked for those guys and made a bunch of money, and were able to kind of keep ourselves afloat. We started a business. I had started Quadratron Games as kind of like the company that I would release games as. But Christian and I made another company called Team Quadratron, which is basically software development in Unity for whoever needs that kind of stuff. So we've been doing that for probably almost 5 years now, something like that. And, you know, it's a little rough doing contract work all the time. There's peaks and valleys, and sometimes you get lots of work or too much work, and then you don't have any work at all. So, but in between time, we work on our own games, and we were working on this game called Threshold, but then that kind of got put to the side as other people dropped out who were working on it, and we started working on a game called Super Rock Blasters. and we released that on Steam first. Well, Itch.io, which is it's like an indie game dev website for releasing indie games. A lot of people release games on there, especially other indie developers, and so we released it on there first, and then we were showcasing it at like a bunch of shows at an event down in Washington, D.C. area called MagFest. And then finally, we released it on Steam. And then a year later, or I guess last year, we released it on the Switch, Nintendo Switch.
Oh, okay, cool.
And we have plans to release it on Xbox, and if we can find ourselves some time, we can get it up on the PlayStation and stuff. But
cool. Do you have an example of the Rock Blasters on your PC that you can share the screen if you want and show everybody?
I am not prepared for that.
That's all right.
But can I put it in chat, I guess?
Absolutely, yeah. I think so.
What's the name of that game again?
Super Rock Blasters. So I can find out.
If you can't, it may not let you. You could send it to me, email it to me, and I can throw it in the chat.
All right, let's see what happens. I can grab something real quick.
Or even if you have like a screenshot or something. And also, once you're done showing us that, we'll segue quickly into Geek and Tell, and you can lead that off, because even though we were just talking about it, I immediately forgot about it. So it happens when you get old.
Here's the trailer. I'll just throw it right in. No, I can't. I'll put it in private chat, and then when
and I'll put it in the private chat, and I'll send it over.
So
all right.
Put it in live chat.
All right.
Live comments. Yeah, I'm not logged in, so I guess I don't have like a real username or anything. I don't know. What is this crazy service you're using? SteamYard.
Yeah, it's a third-party app that integrates with a variety of streaming services, one of them being YouTube. And essentially, you set everything up in StreamYard, and once you're linked to YouTube, it's as if you're on YouTube streaming, which you really are. You are, but the interface on our end is StreamYard.
Gotcha.
So.
All right. So I'm supposed to start this show and tell thing?
Well, you had that wrong. No. It's Geek and Tell.
Oh, I'm sorry. Geek
and
Tell.
This show and tell thing.
I know.
This is the epitome of geek culture.
Exactly. This is where it's at.
This is the Smithsonian of
all right,
geek.
So I actually have two things to show, because they were both
two.
Good.
What the?
Yeah.
All right,
I have a whole bunch of stuff from when I was a kid in my garage. And I've been going through the garage and getting stuff out. And I was like, oh, these are pretty cool little things I had as a kid. I'm going to kind of throw them around my house and just have them available for hanging out. And
for your own personal Geek and Tell.
Yeah. I don't know what these are or where they came from or what they were a part of. But they're these like little alien dudes. I don't know, like little climbing alien dudes. This one's got a cape. And they have like little holes and pegs, and you can like peg them together. Now, I don't know why this was fun, but they're kind of cool looking.
That's funny. Yeah, you got this what? You got
4 different colors.
You got this what? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. So there's like all these little ones, right?
That's pretty funny.
And then the other thing I was going to show off real quick is I've had these for a very long time, and they're pretty fragile. They're made out of metal, and they used to shoot things across the room, and then I guess kids were getting them in their throats and dying, so they stopped that.
That's never good.
Yeah.
Was it like lawn jarts?
They're Japanese.
Oh, I had one of those. Yes. Yeah. The arms fly off. Yeah.
Yeah, and then this guy is apparently very famous. And I don't remember what his name is, but
is that Transor Z?
No,
I'm wondering.
No, it looks like it.
And if you look up robot with a big skull on his body, you'll find out what his name is, and he's pretty famous. I saw like a modern version. Someone had posted a modern version to Twitter, a friend of mine, and it was just this crazy robot with this belly laughing like hysterically, and I just pulled this out and I was like, that's this guy. I can't imagine, like, it's apparently a thing. It's strange because like his his legs come off, and that becomes like a sword or something like that. And,
Oh, cool.
or I guess that's a sword. So anyway, and then they fall apart, and like the legs come off and the hands come off.
And then you're pretty much sad and you cry.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So
Fantastic.
I basically have to treat these like they're made out of feathers, but yeah, they're pretty cool. That's my geek and tell, I guess.
A walk down amnesia lane. Cool.
Yeah, I got tons of stuff like that.
There's a question for you in the chat there. Red Crusader wants to know if you guys are an asset building studio for contract work.
Do we build assets?
Well,
Like-
if you look at the stream, you'll see the thing there.
Are you guys an asset building studio for contract work? Well, we don't make graphical assets. We're both programmers. I don't know if that answers the question, but we basically, if someone needs some interactive media or a game or a simulation or something like that, we'll create that.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Aaron, I think you have a pretty cool geek and tell, even though you're talking to someone off camera.
I don't live by myself. So, I got, I'll show it to you here real quick. It is my, there we go. My Star Wars arcade game.
Check that out.
I bought that in college, and I made an entire semester of tuition payments off of that. And then when the sequels were released, somebody tracked me down at the Mall of America and had me put that thing over at the Mall of America when the sequels were being played. And I made, can't remember if it was $3,000 or $6,000 in quarters, which weighs a lot. It weighs a lot. It weighs more than the arcade game itself. And we had to get we had to get a dolly. You know, like in the cartoons, it's got the money dollar sign in the bags on that.
Yeah.
And it's like, you could have put, this guy's got $3,000. Good luck running away with it because it weighs 300 pounds. It was very, very heavy, potato sacks of money. And the banks did not like me when I came in there and just poured it into their change machine and then waited a while. But so I've had that ever since. It was recently renovated because it was in pretty rough shape after all the moving I've done the past 20 odd years.
So I got a question for you. Well, my business partner Christian had bought a cabinet, and it was on the second floor of a very tall set of stairs. And when we moved out of the office, he couldn't take it with him because it was just too heavy. And then the place burned down, so he completely lost the cabinet.
Oh, wow.
But he ended up meeting someone who does refurbs and stuff. And he's like, well, why didn't you take the plates out? And Christian's like, what do you mean the plates? He says, there's like 100 pounds of weight in the bottom of that cabinet. You can just take them out and it's not as heavy. Is that true for yours?
No, the guy who renovated mine, he says it's all the wood actually. And you wouldn't think plywood would be that heavy, but it's the wood. Oh shit. The old school monitors, because it's like, it's as old as Rob, for God's sakes, those big they're heavy. And then the safe itself, where the money actually goes, those were built so that they weren't exactly, tinfoil. You could just take a can opener to it. So all those things combined makes it very, very, very heavy. Although we got it down and upstairs by sliding it, you'd usually have like two guys down below bracing it, and then somebody with a rope, both two guys up top holding it, and you'd slowly go down like on a rug. So it's movable. It is just I know I brag about my minimalism and everything can fit in a truck, and it's true, except that's the one, luxury item that's kind of a big unnecessary pain in the ass. But
I could see you with a trailer behind your motorcycle, just dragging that around.
I don't think the motorcycle have enough oomph, even my 1300. But that thing, you get it in the truck, and you could tell, like, we don't want to load anything else in this truck. It's very heavy. So. And that's it. It didn't help me get laid.
You sure that
no,
that's not,
girls? No, girls didn't appreciate it. Like, it's Star Wars. I'm like, that's what it is. It's Star Wars. Go back to your 33-cent wage gap. Yeah. But no, it's kind of, it's really cool. Odds. Yeah, it's really cool because guys are like, no way. I'm like, yeah, way. Yeah, I am that fucking awesome. Yes, I am. And so,
oh my God, that's great.
And modest too.
And very modest.
Well,
And
when the guys see that, you could tell them anything. You could say, I'm pretty awesome. I say, yes, you are. Can I play it? I'm like, yes, you may, for 50 cents.
50 cents.
Yeah, you could jack it up to I think $1, like the old ones will allow you to play.
Oh my God! Now, okay. Well, that's more in keeping with your
which version? Which version of Star Wars is it?
The first one, the Star where you go into the Death Star.
All right, so it's like the vector graphics.
Yeah, the vector graphics. Yep, fly the X-wing. Yep.
Nice.
Can you move the camera back there? Because it looked like there's a head on top of it. Is that true?
Oh, that's my helmet. My motorcycle helmet.
Yeah, he has to wear a helmet when he plays arcade games.
Yes, I get a little.
Those people who have epileptic seizures.
Seizures.
Yeah, it's kind of like no. That's I live in a one
Natalie
bedroom.
Portman from Garden State or whatever.
Oh yeah, she wore the soft helmet. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, no, that's just my motorcycle helmet. I live here with my girlfriend. It's just a one bedroom, and we did an amazingly efficient job. Yeah, we did an amazingly efficient job getting everything in here because we are inevitably on our way out to move to the South Dakota. But yeah, so I kind of got to put that up there, and I got other stuff. But yeah, so that's cool. that's my geek and tell.
That's your geek. That's a pretty cool geek and tell.
It's pretty cool.
Rob, you've got a geek and tell or?
Yeah, I got my beer. That's my geek and tell.
All right, there's. I can't laugh. I don't have one this broadcast either. TJ, are you gonna have go ahead and give a geek and tell? You always have something cool.
Yeah, let me go grab it 1 second. Give me a moment.
Nice.
Got guys wandering around the studio.
Yeah, Aaron, is that a bra hanging from a lamp in the background?
Kind of looks like it, don't it?
It doesn't it? Yeah.
I think it might actually be.
Yeah. TJ, avert your eyes.
He can't hear you.
I got back first, Aaron. I win. All right.
We do have a quick question though before you even do that.
Oh yeah.
Well, for Aaron, behind you, there's a lamp. Is that a bra hanging from it?
Oh, for God's sake! Really, the bra? I even brought an extra geek and tell in case because nobody else had some. Yes, that is a bra.
All right. Well, I've got good powers of observation. There you go.
Everyone keeps saying, "Oh, the bra is still there." The bra.
Why didn't I?
Aaron,
there.
if you want to move on and not have to use those, just start doing more push-ups.
You got to get her your bitch did.
You're being Space Marcus is putting you to shame.
No, he's not on the head.
Oh my
anyway,
God. All right,
it's a bra I had. I don't remember where or when I got it.
Oh, okay.
It was at a party. It's been with me since my bachelor pad in Minneapolis, and I've always had it hanging. It just happens to be in the backdrop this time. And I have an agreement that if people want to see a different bra, like, oh, whose bra is it? What bra is it? I don't know whose bra it is. But if you want a new and different bra, you can always donate to the various donation platforms I have and say, buy new bra. And then it could be a pink bra or a red bra. And you can all fantasize, oh, how did he get it? What's the story behind the bra? But there wouldn't be a story behind the bra because none of the people paid for it. So.
All right. That was very brief of you, Aaron. Thank you. You're welcome. Now you have a quick geek and tell yourself again.
If nobody else does, I feel bad that
no, don't feel bad. TJ has one, but if you want to shove another one in there.
Okay, yeah, this is an actual fossil from the Black Hills. I'm sorry, the Badlands. The Black is not in the actual Black Hills. This is the Prairie and Badland, and I don't know what it is, but it is fossilized. It's probably a dinosaur shard because it's pretty big, and it is rock. Sometimes you can get stuff that's still a little bit bone, but this is 100% rock, so it's older than.
So basically, you put it in the ground, waited millions of years because that's how old you are, and then came back to go pick it up. You just don't remember why you put it.
Rob might recognize who this is. Or what this is. He might have been Rob's pet dinosaur. You just saw the Flintstones. They had Dino. This might have been Rob's Dino back in the day.
Could have been.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So that's why.
That's pretty cool. I like it. Your archaeological find.
I'm practically Indiana Jones.
It belongs in a museum.
So do you.
Well, you do have the fedora.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's packed away, unfortunately.
That's never good.
Yeah, he's probably.
I've been wanting to wear that because it pisses off people so much.
It does. All right, TJ, you have you've got one to show. Oh, wow.
This is an antique saw.
Are you going to play it? You can actually play a saw, but that's really cool though. How old is that?
My great grandfather used it.
Wow.
If you look at the wood,
closer, it's etched. Yes, I see that.
Nice.
It's like a piece of wheat, sheaf of wheat.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So in case we need to saw off a few,
if you amputate your leg from gangrene.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It had there's some words right here. I don't know what it said on this side.
Oh yeah. It's kind of
wait. Put it closer.
Put it closer.
No, I could. Yeah, M-Y. No, bring it back.
Are they initials?
M-Y-E-H. Yeah.
B-C and O. Something B-C-O. I have no idea.
No, okay.
But
that's cool. My father had one of those.
Just call me Paul Bunyan.
There
Except he had a double-bladed axe and not a saw, but...
well, that's okay.
You can dress Reese up as, dye him blue. Babe, the blue ox.
No, but you know what I gotta do, and you know what everybody needs to do? You need to go through Aaron Clarey's affiliate link, and then buy a St. Bernard keg that I need to get for Reese. That actually holds liquor in it, like a pint or something like that. And then I need to put some brandy in it. So then we go doing our snowshoeing out
with my mother
yonder
with Aaron's mother,
my geriatric mother. Yes.
It's too
I'll
funny.
then have something to drink.
There you go. Gabe, what are you drinking? It looks like you have a large tankard there.
What do you believe is in here?
It's either water or beer.
I drink my beer right from the bottle. So this is just water, but it's in a pretty cool. It's from Wild Bill's. They have like fancy sodas.
Looks like mead or grog should be in that thing. That's
I know, right?
I think I have had beer. So I got a Wizard World one year. I have like a whole bunch of them. Every year I go to Wizard World, I get one. But I think one year Christian and I went to Wizard World, or we were showing something there, and we got these, and then we went to the bar in the Wizard World, and they filled this up with beer, and we drank beer. But usually I just drink water out of it.
Oh, that's true. All right, so let's segue back to you as well and your adventures in entrepreneurship. Now, refresh my memory again. You've been doing the non-corporate thing for about 5 years now.
Yeah. So I guess 2014, 2015, something like that. Pretty much, both Christian and I blew through our savings working on some games, and we didn't know what to do. So we started looking for what we could do to make money. And this fella came to our office, and he's like, "Hey, I heard you guys make stuff." And we're like, "Sure."
Stuff.
And, so I was like, "Why don't you sit down and tell us what you want, and we'll see if we can make it for you." And so we talked to him for a little bit. He's like, it turns out he was a scientist or a statistician, and the company he worked for did a bunch of research into what causes people to have accidents.
At like just general accidents or car accidents?
Car accidents.
Oh, okay.
And they had a simulation where they had like the cockpit of a car, essentially. So they had like a dashboard and a steering wheel and brakes and accelerators and even the car radio and stuff. And they would bring people, and they did this for probably like 15, 20 years or something.
Wow.
And they would bring people and they would put them into this cockpit, and they would have them drive a simulated experience where they had some events, and they would try to find out when they would gather all this data. So they would, where's your foot? What are you looking at? Where are your hands?
Mm.
Are you distracted? And then they would also the simulation itself would generate tons of data, and they would take that data and they would put it into a program called MATLAB, and they would spit out analysis. And over however long they were doing it, 15, 20 years, they were able to mathematically kind of see people's driving habits, how close you're following, where you're looking, that kind of stuff. And they came out with a profile of people who were at risk for, it just had bad driving habits and who would be at risk. And they could predict who would be at risk to get in an accident.
Mm.
And what they wanted to do is, and the company they worked for wanted to, they have a program where they spin off like startups, and they would give like seed money to them and stuff like that. So they were going to take this science and they were going to try to apply it so that they could build a company which basically sold a service to identify drivers who were at risk for companies with fleets of drivers. So if you think like pharmaceutical, like a pharmaceutical company might have a ton of sales reps out in the field all across the globe. And they get in accidents all the time while they're on the job. So that would cost money. And they wanted to be able to provide a service for them. But before they could do that, they had to take like all of their simulation, which was in a bunch of computers, and they had this big giant cockpit, and they wanted to kind of like shrink it down to the size of like a tablet. Well, eventually it wasn't a tablet. They ended up doing like a kiosk, more like where they had like a laptop or a small computer, and they had like we ended up getting them like a racing kit, driving steering wheel, and a brake and accelerator and stuff like that. And we built them the simulator that not the same simulator, but we built them a simulator such that they could run their scripted events in it. The scripted event would be like you're driving down the road, and then all of a sudden a kid comes across the road or a ball or something, and you gotta, are you gonna crash into that kid, or are you gonna crash
or speed up? Don't forget that would speed up.
Oh yeah.
We're at it. It's lots of options on the table. Let's not be hasty.
Stay on target.
Well, and it's funny because you'll laugh because a lot of it is common sense stuff. Like, well, you shouldn't be impaired. You shouldn't be talking on the phone or texting people or all this other crap, dialing the radio. These are all things that were ending up being the data they were getting. And then what they were trying to figure out was like, well, why are people doing these other things instead of paying attention to the road? So they actually had like an intervention style psychology thing going on where they would have you speak to if they identified you as a driver, they would have you speak to like a therapist or something, and then they would find out what's going on in your life that makes it so that you're not paying attention to the damn road. And it worked. So they could intervene, and the people who they intervene with would, when they tested them again, would lower their chances of being at risk. So we built that simulator for them, and that was over about a year.
Okay. Can you, Bull Rush wants to know if you can adjust the driving mechanics.
So driving mechanics, so we could create like a scenario. So the driver was kind of free to do whatever they wanted, including drive off the road if they really wanted to, which kind of wouldn't be useful data. But we could create like events such that like we could have a car behind like a hedge or something, and if the driver sees the driveway, we can have that. We can have an event happen at that particular place. So they had a series of events that they wanted to test and validate whether or not they can replicate their findings. So, and that way we did customize the experience for them. And then they took our work and they've built on top of it and actually built we built them a prototype, and then they took that and they continued working on it. So I don't know if that answers the question. But.
Speaking of TJ's?
Speaking of mechanics,
that's the train.
Do you live in a train? What's going on?
There's a train. No. There's a train. There's railroad tracks about 1,000 feet.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool. They're hauling in like Boeing parts and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Because that one time I visited TJ, even though he never visited me. Remember when I came out to your house, TJ? I got to see that. Yeah, to see. I'm just saying it's really cool.
Aaron was complaining that
this guy's got more nerve than a bum tooth.
Seriously, honestly, yeah. Aaron was complaining earlier that we don't fly out the same, but we'll fix that soon because he showed us the Star Wars arcade game. We all want to come out to play that. Yeah, so not to see Aaron, we want to play the video game.
Is this going to be like the Seinfeld episode where they drug the person up with turkey and tryptophan so they can play all of his classic toys?
There you go. Borash, sort of give you another more specific example.
Can you adjust the driving mechanics to imitate what you think you like to drive drunk?
What I would like to drive drunk, yeah.
No, it wasn't quite like that. I mean, you could get drunk and then drive the simulation, and it would be like you're drunk driving the simulation. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, but no, it wasn't like we weren't like causing weird things to happen with the car, like to simulate that kind of stuff. It was more like we're going to stick a normal person in a driving situation, and we're going to see what they do, and we're going to gather a bunch of data about their position in space time and all this other crap, how fast they were going. What they were looking at, that kind of thing.
Gotcha. All right, cool.
So I just want to say, like all this talk about arcade cabinets, Christian and I are actually going to build an arcade cabinet this fall.
Oh.
From scratch.
Oh, nice.
And put one of our games in it and take it to Washington, D.C. for MagFest. Well, we're going to try.
Are you going to do any artwork for it? Like, or is it going to be one of those multi-game things where you're going to like have 60 games on a tabletop?
Well, I mean, yes, but we're going to try to make a custom cabinet for our game, but we're not. The way you make them now is that the computer that's inside them can have every arcade game ever imaginable inside that computer, and you can then play it on that cabinet. But our intent is to build it specifically for this for now, and I think I know I want to build one for myself and put it in my basement, but it has to be like smaller. It can't be as big as the one you got. And Christian wants to build one for himself as well, but he has like weird designs that he wants to do, like not traditional cabinet stuff. But
even Tetris.
Even Tetris. You can have Tetris and any other game that uses joysticks and buttons and stuff.
Yeah, haven't you guys seen that? They got them now. My neighbor used to have one. Donkey Kong Jr.
Oh yeah.
I mean everything.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Pac-Man, all that's
Yeah, they're selling them. It's very hot now. Those they're like Pac-Man and Galaxian and stuff like that. Yeah. And they're like smaller, so they're like this big. Yeah.
Are you talking the tabletop ones or the little ones where the screen is somewhat vertical?
No, like it's weird. They build them to scale, so they're like the same shape as the old classic ones, and they'll have like one that's like a quarter size, which is like fits on your desk, and it's like yay big. You can't see my logo.
Oh,
it's like yay big. But then they have one. There's a company that sells one. I think it's called One Up or something like that. They're about this tall, right? So if you're sitting, you can play it. They have like a booster that you can like put it up and it'll make it higher. But the cabinet itself is like it's like half size or something.
Right. But I'm talking like, remember Galaga? It was, you'd be at the pizza place or the roller rink. It was like a flat thing. It had plastic glass over it. Yeah, a table. That's what I want is like, whether it's new or an original classic table or Pac-Man or whatever.
Yeah, we're actually, Christian and I were actually talking about maybe building a table instead of a stand-up cabinet because our game is like a 4-player game. they were going to build. And we figured, well, how, it's going to be tough fitting 4 people at a small screen. So we're like, well, what if it was a table and just 4 people sat around the table and played? So we were thinking about that too. So that I know the machines you're specifically talking about, like you said, Galaxian and Pac-Man were like common ones.
Yeah, Galaga. And I don't. Was Gauntlet the same way, or was Gauntlet a stand-up one? Or you could play 4 the same one.
That was
awesome.
It was like a wide cabinet. It was wider than the normal ones, and
because you had 2 players.
Tall.
Yeah,
and you kind of look down at it. I think they have one at Barcade, or they had one at least. That thing was a money machine. It just like sucked your quarters right up. I did want to say our game Super Rock Blasters. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but we know we signed a contract to put our game on an
I see what you're saying. Gotcha.
And I'm not going to talk about it because I don't know what the deal is, whether I'm allowed to or whether.
I see what you're saying. Gotcha.
Yeah. But it's going to be on an arcade cabinet.
Cool.
That's going to go in like venues and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's pretty cool.
So, yeah, we think it's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, where can people find this?
Well, they can find the game on Steam.
Okay.
But not a lot of people play the game on Steam because Steam's like it's for computers, and people don't play living room games in Steam, even though I do. Most people don't. So we released it on Switch, Nintendo Switch.
All right.
So you can totally play with your Nintendo Switch in your living room with your buddies.
Do you got to download it, or you buy an actual cartridge for Switch?
It's downloadable.
We
didn't make cartridges, or I don't even, what are they, like SD cards or something?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you have a Switch? Have you ever seen it?
I don't have a Switch. Christian has his own Switch, and then we have a dev kit. And I would probably put the dev kit in my living room, but the dev kit we're using, you can only have it as a dev kit, or you have to switch it to retail. You have to one or the other. And if you switch it to retail, it makes it a pain in the butt to switch it back to dev. So right now it's a dev kit sitting in our office, and we got a project that we're working on it. So someone else's game that we're trying to port to it.
Gotcha.
I just like the Switch because it actually comes with a cartridge, and I feel like it's an old game, and I plug it in.
Do you blow on it too?
That way you can understand it, Aaron, and you don't get overwhelmed with all the complicated technology.
I know, like 13-hour downloads and 2-hour updates, and
basically about the physical media. It's fun having, and I just pulled out I saw Vince had retweeted some of my stuff. I pulled out my old Atari ST. I'm redoing my basement to be kind of like a retro computer room kind of thing, as we all tend to do as we get old, I guess. And I got my Atari ST, and it's got monitors and a disk drive, and I got all my old discs, and I have like these little I don't know if you guys remember, but they're like 2.5-inch discs. They're like hard.
Oh yeah.
And I have like 3 discs that are Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Heroes of the Lance, and just looking at the disc, it was kind of cool. It had all the artwork on it and stuff. So having those like physical media, it's probably going to make a comeback eventually. Yeah. It's just so expensive to.
Well, look at how much Nintendo 64 games used to sell when the Xbox came out and everything, and it's like with all these different things, when they become immediately outdated, they drop in price, and then a couple years later they go back up again because they're not being made anymore.
Good luck getting a Zelda Ocarina of Time or something. It's like $100 cartridge.
Ooh.
I remember I had this would be for the true geeks out there. I had Chrono Trigger, and I had the maps, and I had the everything, and now I still do have the maps. That's going to be one of my Geek and Tells when I find it one of these days. But if you had the whole package, I think it's something like $350. If you had that Super Nintendo game, I think it was the Super Nintendo game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just like the physical thing, because back in Ronald Reagan's day, all you had to do was plug it in, turn it on, and you could play. Now, I know TJ with his modern day technologies, he likes the updates, he likes the patches.
You're talking to the guy who has a VCR and a box TV in his entertainment center. 1990s Entertainment Center. So you might be barking up the wrong tree on this.
So anyway, TJ with his Xbox One and his PlayStation 4, and he's always on the latest and greatest. And that's all we did basically is I watched him download updates to his console. But no, it's awesome. That's why I'm not joking. One of the great
only
things
you are as tall as the tails you spin.
one thing I like about the Switch is old timers can use it. You plug it in, you hit on, and you play it. That's the only console out there that allows that to happen.
Okay, since we're talking about all these old games. I have an original NES, and I have a lot of old original games that I can talk about.
You have Castlevania 3.
Wait, bear with me for a moment.
Here's some more major geek intel. Here we go. Oh, you set him off.
We got TJ upset. He's going to get his cookies and milk, and it's not going to be warm milk. It's going to be cold milk right out of the fridge this time.
He's going to put ice in it.
He might have 2 cookies before he goes to bed.
Chocolate chunks.
Get his bunny slippers before he goes to bed.
His Reese doggy slippers.
Yeah, his Reese doggy slippers. Yeah,
yes, we have to make those.
And that's why I think TJ is a very upstanding man, and we should all respect and look up for him, even though he's young. Oh,
yeah,
TJ,
you're back. Yeah, whatever.
All right, here we go.
All right,
the geek level does intensify, Bull Rush.
So obviously, this one is
feel it. There
Wait a minute.
Hey, if you like listening to ASMR videos.
Oh God, don't even start. So wait a minute. Could we say? Do you have any more, TJ?
Do I have any more?
Okay, is that whole box is full?
This is a 3D submarine game.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Silent Service.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
No.
Oh. Has a kind of Metal Gear. Oh yeah,
nice.
That was a great one.
I have started to fall asleep.
Wait, playing that game?
No, it's from the. Have you ever played the game?
Yeah, but that wasn't Metal Gear, the first one. That was like Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, this is the original. That was the original.
I played it when I was your age, TJ.
Speaking of Gauntlet.
Oh, there we go, Gauntlet.
Oh,
yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah,
nice.
That was one of the original games that we got with the NES.
You're next on the visiting list, TJ. Robin are going to come out and play Gauntlet with you.
Blades of Steel.
Blades of Steel.
Blades of Steel. Yes, I remember that.
RC Pro-Am? You got RC Pro-Am?
Oh, baby. One of my favorites. Jackal.
Oh, cool.
Okay. That was an awesome game. They just
How many you got in there, TJ?
A lot. Bear with me. Oh! Hello, how do we do? Donkey Kong.
Nope, there you go. Bull Rush is hoping for Duck Hunt.
I did show Duck Hunt.
Did you? Oh, okay. I didn't notice that.
Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah.
With instruction manual.
Wow.
Oh, sweet. Damn.
So wait a minute. Could we say that millennials versus Gen Xers, like Gen Xers like the actual physical thing, like women, but you millennials like your things digitally, like porn? Could we say that?
Whoa, Cappy. Who are you talking to here?
Just speaking about your generation. I know you don't represent them. I'm asking you to tell me. So millennial Top Gun.
Oh,
right.
Cool.
This one, it's okay. It's just one of those cheesy World War II arcade shoot 'em up games.
Oh yeah.
The cover looks far more exciting than the game.
Do you have 1943 by chance in there?
The Manhattan Project.
Oh, I remember hearing about that one, but I've never played it.
Oh,
that's cool.
It's such a great game.
Is it based off of the movie?
No, it's not based off of the movie.
All right, just making sure.
Oh, of course. Then I have in the NES, which I've been trying to get working on the TV. I'm going to need to buy some more stuff. I have Russian Attack, which is one of my favorite games.
Where you lie down with a knife and hit the dogs to come after you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
see?
That was a pretty good extra geek intel.
I used to have the original Zelda, and it might actually be in one of them. And I had The Adventures of Link, but some guy in high school I loaned him to never gave him back.
That bastard.
I still know who it is. I will find him.
You could show up at his door one day demanding your
I bought my $2.
That's right.
You guys remember Bionic Commando?
Yes.
Where like Hitler's in the end of that one?
What?
Yeah, they're trying to resurrect Hitler. You go up against Hitler in the end. Bionic Commando, great Nintendo game. All right, glad you guys are all with me on that. All right, cool. Everybody calm the fuck down.
Kind of just glazed over.
I mean, why don't you tell us about E.T., Aaron, the game?
Oh my god,
that was
shit.
To give may I tell a story to give further geek credentials?
Sure.
Okay,
Credential away.
I knew that they had buried all those ET games in the desert somewhere in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And before there was a lot of stuff on the internet, I did some research, even in the library, to find out where they had been buried. I found articles, microfiche even. It says, oh, it's in Alamogordo, New Mexico. So many years ago, I ended up going through New Mexico, and part of the main why I went there was I wanted to see if I could go out to the this desert and find it. So I get into town, Alamogordo, New Mexico, and I ask, I say, hey, do you know where they buried those ET games? Like, oh yeah, they buried it in the city dump. I'm like, oh, it's not in the desert? And like, no, it's in the dump. I'm like, oh, I mean, like, so where they've been dumping stuff for the past 20 years? It's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, so it's not on the top. He's like, no, it's way down there. So I was like, oh, heartbroken, and I'm not going to dig up the ET things. Well, guess what they did?
What did they do, Aaron?
They found them.
They found them. They had the guy who's they dug it up. There's a whole documentary on it, and they found the ET.
It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the guy was crying and because he programmed the game. Yeah.
Yep.
They pretty much like asked him to make the game in like a week or something.
Yeah, they rushed him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was the same guy that made Yara's Revenge or something like that.
That was a cool game. I enjoyed that.
And
that was fun.
I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but I remember watching that documentary, and I think that's what they said. And they were like, "You're so hot. You should make this game." And here's Steven Spielberg, and he thinks you're awesome.
Here's a week.
Yeah,
here's a week.
You got a week. Can you do it? And he's like, "Yeah, okay."
When like, no.
What I don't get, how did that tank the Atari or the video game industry that year?
I can tell you.
Oh, please do, because I never understood that.
So what was happening is that you had third parties that were making games that without the authorization or permission from Atari and these other companies. And what ended up happening is you just had a complete saturation of the market. On top of that, so the price of games continued to dwindle, right? But what happened with Atari is they expected that ET was going to be this big selling game, and they rushed the game so that they could take advantage of the movie coming out. Well, nobody wanted to play it because it was such a crappy game. And so nobody bought it, and the stores wouldn't take it. So they ended up just dumping it out in New Mexico. But what ended up happening with all the other games that didn't get dumped is they got put in the bargain bin, and then stores just stopped selling them. They started selling the Commodore 64. Something to keep in mind, and I'm sure you remember this, Aaron, because you were alive back then.
I was your age. I was 7 when this happened, 1982.
Video games were still new enough to where people didn't really know if it was going to go anywhere. And so one of the angles that they were doing for selling Commodore 64 was, this is going to teach your son or daughter how to type so that they can go write essays in college, whereas video games don't provide any educational value. So that was the selling point of that. And that's why with all the NES games, they have that seal right here,
right,
saying that it's been authorized by Nintendo. So they also have something inside the game, the NES console, that prevents unauthorized third-party software from using it. But Nintendo learned all the lessons from this, because the video game companies didn't get bailed out, unlike the banks back in 07, 08. So they had to learn their lesson, and they've never made a mistake. As a result, there's never been a collapse in the market. There's been video game companies like Sega and Atari ended up going out of business as far as video game consoles, but now it's mainly just PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, as far as companies, but now they're branching out and doing all other sorts of stuff. But that's, to be not brief, that's what happened.
Well, that was succinct though too. I like that. That was.
There's I don't know if you guys heard this, but I don't know what their connection is with Atari has long been changed hands and swapped out for just IP, and the company that was Atari is no longer really Atari, I don't think.
Right.
But someone who owns the rights to do so is putting out a console called Atari VCS. And it's supposed to actually it's supposed to come with all the old classic games built into it. Plus, it's a regular console, so you'll be able to install or download modern games as well. And it has like a pretty sleek look to it. See if I can post the thing.
There you go, Aaron. You can buy that and you can plug your cartridges in there.
Right, but didn't they have something like that already, like 2-3 Christmases ago?
Well, they had like they've had a whole bunch of them, but this is like a modern console that just comes with all the things.
All the
Here,
games.
I'm gonna link to the.
You should be able to share your screen if you want to.
Well, I'll let you share your screen. How about that?
I remember the most expensive Atari game I ever bought was Pitfall 2. I paid $27 for it, which in 1984 or 85, that was a huge amount of money.
All your allowance for that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I was 9, maybe double digits, but I remember that was the biggest purchase until I think I bought a car in my life. And I just loved the game. It was great and wonderful. And then, of course, with everybody else's Atari, I lost it, threw it away, whatever. So I'm playing Call of Duty World War II. And it's out by Activision. It's put out by Activision. And so one of the many things you can do, you can go to HQ, and there's like a real, like an entertainment. It's like you're on the battalion in World War II. And so you go in there and like, oh, do you want to play this game? I'm like, yeah. Well, there they have all of Activision's old Atari games, including Pitfall 2, that you could play on this thing. So I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to throw away my Call of Duty World War II game because it has Pitfall 2 on it. I just don't want to give it up.
Cool.
Hey, Vince, out of curiosity, are you guys monetized yet? Like, can you do super chats?
I really don't want to be bothered with that. We're monetizing.
Ain't
Patreon.
nobody got time for that.
Yeah, we're monetizing Patreon lines, but we want to make our broadcasts free of that, and obviously our free content on our website. But if you do want to become a Patreon, go over to Patreon. I can post it. Rob, you want to throw up a link for us?
Yeah. Let me pull it up here.
Thanks, sir.
And in the meantime, to steal Rob's thunder, why don't people start smashing that like button?
Hey, you're like 6 minutes out, but since you're stealing my thunder, go, please.
Well, I'm just saying, how many people do we have the watch to like ratio here?
I don't know. What is it?
How many people are watching right now? Do we know?
You got 20 in the 20 watching, and I don't know how many are in the chat.
How many people are liking?
Likes, 21 watching.
Hey!
Oh, we got 2 dislikes, 19 likes. It just updated. So we have 2
dislikes.
Yeah, well, those are my ex-wives, ex-girlfriends. It's my fan club showing up.
I want to go in and I'm going to like it.
Just
everybody who I brought here, tune in and like it. Like the video.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're gonna like it. You're gonna take it, like it. See?
That's right. You dirty whores. Yes. Like, share the video, share with your friends, share with your family, share with your enemies. We don't care.
What's this show called again? What am I looking? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, Jesus.
We all took him seriously. We were like, okay, he needs to take his pills.
Yeah, pretty much. His old man pills.
I like it there. See? Yeah.
So, Gabe, did you want to go into a little bit of backstory about how you came to the game development? Because what were you originally? You're
leading me here, but okay.
I'm totally I'm putting you on the spot, but go ahead.
I started my my career as a pharmacist and absolutely hated it, but I did it for a very long time, and then really early on I realized I hated it, so it didn't take me long to figure out I hated it. So I went back to school for computer science, but I was like working in a cubicle making lots of money, so like why would I want to go work in some other cubicle making more money or same amount of money? So I didn't know what the heck to do as a computer science student. And then I guess about 10 years ago, I guess like 2009, 2008 or something like that. I was like making mods or add-ons or something like that. And I was like, oh, well, I really like doing this. Maybe I should look into making video games, because that's like, I like playing video games and stuff like that. So, and I started like looking into, how I could, make this change, or how I can get involved and stuff like that. And I don't remember, because now it's 10 years ago, so I'm starting to lose my memory. But I think there was like an ad. I was like on a web page, and there was an ad for. Well, I think first I did a meetup. There was like a meetup of some guys, like random people from Philadelphia, got together because they wanted to be game developers, and they would just go and meet at like the local Starbucks or something. So I would meet up with them every couple months, and it was okay, but everybody was just like pipe dreaming it, and wasn't really, there was no one there that actually knew what they were talking about, or wanted, could in any way make a career out of it for themselves. But they were just having fun, daydreaming about wanting to be game developers. And then I think there was an ad somewhere, Facebook or something like that. It's like, go to GDC if you want to be a game developer. It might have been a website like Gamma Sutra or something like that. And it was like, go to GDC and if you're a game developer, go to GDC and have meet all the other game developers. It's like, oh, that sounds really cool. So I was still working as a pharmacist, but I was working 7 days on, 7 days off, so I could take a whole week off and go do something. And I looked at the ad, and it's like, oh, it's in San Francisco. So I was like, all right, I'll book a flight over there. I'll get myself a ticket to this conference, and I'll go see what the heck it's about. And I went out there, knew nothing, knew no one. And there's like all these professionals there to schmooze and make deals and stuff like that. And there I was like, look, I have no clue what I'm talking about or doing, but I'm going to try. And I think I met a couple people, and I saw this thing, this organization called the IGDA. It's International Game Developers Association. And I was like, oh, sure, I'll sign up for that. And it turned out they had a Philly chapter. And I started going to the meetings in Philadelphia. And that's where I met a bunch of people from Philadelphia who were more serious about doing it. And that's eventually where I found out about the Global Game Jam, and went to that and met a lot of the people that I ended up working with over the years. And then eventually, like I said, Christian and I ran out of money, and we had to figure out what to do. So we actually, made a company. We're like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to try to find work and do work as contractors. And we knew nothing about what we were doing. So, all right, well, what do we do? All right, you got to make a company. Look online. How do you make a company? And
you could hire Asshole Consulting for those business 101 questions. Just saying.
Well, they do. They have a like LegalZoom or whatever, and you're just like,
but this is cheaper and better and way prettier than legal. I mean, they have the best looking employees of all the consulting agencies. Just what I heard on the grapevine.
Well, LegalZoom, they weren't as pretty, but their robotic voice reached out through cyberspace and sent us all of their paperwork already done for us. So we were now a company, and that was pretty dangerous. Then we went and were able to get a bank account and stuff like that. So, but I guess you're not really in business until you start making money, and that
correct.
That kind of ties back into that story I was telling, where quite serendipitously, after we started putting this together, this job just fell in our laps. Like literally, we're hanging out, and someone comes to the office like, "Oh, I heard you guys are game developers. Can you make a game?" And we're like, "Yeah."
It's what we do. It's what we do.
Yeah. So, but that's kind of what it's weird, because as a contractor, that's kind of where all the jobs come from, like random word of mouth stuff. it's very strange, and it's not like, they have all these websites out there like LinkedIn and Indeed and WeWork and whatever, or not WeWork. I don't remember what it's called. There's like a bunch of them out there. Like they're trying to sell you this idea that we can get you jobs, or we can hook you up with other people, and the quality of jobs from those things are like zero. Like you don't want to go into. You don't want to. First of all, those people mostly don't have any money, and then they don't know what they want, and they're also pipe dreaming it, and they're like, I want to make an app. Well, what do you want to make? I don't know. I just got to make an app. Can you help me make an app? So it's like those jobs are kind of worthless. They don't really pay, and even if they did pay, you probably want to shoot yourself after you start.
Were these the dude bro business guys who they were idea guys but
the
had no
idea
skill?
guys?
Yeah, the idea guys. Okay, yeah, I was just wondering.
Well, I don't think we've ever really done business with idea guys because they're very obvious idea guys, and you're like, well, okay, we'll answer a very simple business question for me, and they can't. So they're not business people; they're just idea guys. So,
did they offer you equity in the company instead of money?
That happens a lot too, where people are like, "Oh, we can't pay you, but we can give you equity," and it's like, well, that's of zero value to me because I can't buy food with the promise of potential profit at some unknown time in the future. So I still gotta go shopping, and I gotta pay my rent or water bill and electric bill and stuff. So we ended up just kind of like, and we're still trying to figure it out 5 years later. But luckily, we were very lucky to find a number of different jobs where it was 2 or 3 long-term jobs, which were like 8 to 12 months long, and they were serious amounts of money. So we managed to keep ourselves going, and then in between those times, we would get these like little jobs or consulting jobs and stuff like that. Like right now, we have a consulting job, which brings in a regular amount of money every month to go and basically run someone else's business for them. Like they have like a crew of people working on a project in Unity, but they don't really know what they're doing. So they ask us to kind of tell those people what to do, which is kind of cool because then we don't have to do the work, but we can tell other people how to do the work and then go and do more work to get paid for it. So I would like to find more of those consulting gigs. If I found like 5 or 6 of those things and did one a week, I'd be set pretty well.
Nice.
But most of the work we've gotten has all been like word of mouth. So you have to be really, you got to think, I used to be kind of angry and rabble-rousery and get in arguments on the internet all the time. And I don't do that anymore, or at least I try not to, because I have to think of my business first, and I have to think of my business partner. And if I go make a mistake somewhere about something, and we, as a result, don't get business because they don't want to do business with us, it's not just me that's going to get screwed. It's my business partner and his girlfriend. They can't pay their rent, and maybe some of the subcontractors that we work with aren't going to get jobs. So it's kind of a big responsibility to take this on for yourself. You're not just working for someone anymore, where you can like, oh, all right, I'm flipping burgers. What do I care? I'm just going to mouth off and say whatever I want, and I'll just get another job. But I can't do that as a small business owner. I gotta behave in a way where everyone's happy all the time. So that's been a real challenge, trying to kind of balance being yourself, but also being, building goodwill for everybody to want to do business with you. So by building that goodwill, we actually get a lot of word of mouth business where everyone's like, all right, we were happy working with them. I know these guys, they do this, you can work with them. And of course, we're not always successful at that either. Sometimes we screw up, and sometimes people don't, like our work, or something happened, we don't ever hear from them again. But we try to make it work. Does that answer your question, Vince?
It does. Yes, that was more than I expected. Thank you. That was
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like throwing shit at the wall, and sometimes.
At Asshole Consulting, you can learn to throw the shit against the wall more accurately.
Pinpoint precision.
Oh my god!
We promise a 20% increase in what sticks to the wall. Asshole Consulting.
There you go.
There's your new motto.
Oh my god!
Aaron Clarey was
5'9".
Mr. Aaron Clarey, 5'9".
Oh my god! So you, Gabe, you basically no advertising. It's all word of mouth.
Well, I wish we could do advertising, but we're really bad at it. And,
I'm honest to God, I'm joking half, but I'm not joking now. Why didn't you hire someone that had some business acumen?
That costs money.
Well, how much?
It costs a lot of money. It costs, all right. So
you're going to Bain and McKinsey, or maybe your friend Bob who does accounting.
If you're making about $10,000 a month and you got $2,000 in overhead, and you want to pay, you got two guys who want to pay themselves, that money starts disappearing. So are you going to pay a marketing firm another $2,000 a month to market your company, on the maybe chance that they might find business for you?
Well, do you have a website?
Yeah, we have. We have a really bad website. We have to.
Okay. Oh well, there's a start. You don't need a marketing expert to not have a really. I mean, Asshole Consulting is a really shitty website. I programmed it, but it suffices. But if you're doing graphics and selling video games, you kind of need a decent
I absolutely agree. It is definitely something that we need to fix. And
the difficulty is finding somebody who's actually not going to just waste your time and money. Like, how do you know? It's almost like you're trying to get a consulting thing. You're trying to get somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. Well, they are not a good reference. Like, oh, I'm a great consultant. Well, yeah, I'm sure you think you do.
It's like someone we know as a thought leader and a storyteller.
finding. Okay, let's say we want to find a third business partner, and right now that. Between Christian and I, yeah, I get it. It's already tough having one business partner. Why throw another one in there? But how do you sell the idea of like, hey, work for us for free for a while when you've proven that you can earn us money, and then we'll pay you. Like that's like no one's gonna want that job.
Right.
So maybe you find someone who's like, all right, on your off hours you want to work for a company that's making video games. Maybe you're going to take that risk where on the weekends, I'm going to put in 20 hours or when I get home or in the morning before I go to work, I'm going to make phone calls for you guys and I'm going to see if I can get work. And then you give me a commission and then we'll see about building a relationship. Well, finding that person that's not going to be a total asshole or is just going to ruin you is hard.
That's true.
And someone that you like and someone you don't mind giving up your company to, or paying some of the money that you would pay yourself with. So we're in a bit of a conundrum where we're two people and we need like 3 or 4. And those other 2 people whose job would be just running the business and getting jobs. And then Christian and I would actually do the work. And Christian would do a bunch of one kind of work and I would do a different kind of work. But it's a tough problem to solve because we're the ones doing the work. Those other people can't do the work until they've proven they can do the work. And
right.
What are you not going to pay them until like you make some money?
There comes that little payment problem you were talking about. Yeah.
So they got to be willing to kind of step in as a potential business partner who are going to take the risk of joining your company and put in money of their own into the pot that they're going to use to pay themselves for until they can start getting the business right.
Generating the business for it, yeah. And that's pretty much, I mean, you're talking about taking risks, and that's essentially what you and Christian did to form your company and do this.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, we took the risk. So, we have 5 years in of taking risks and tightening the belt and not being able to buy, fancy Christmas presents one Christmas because we didn't have a work that winter. So how, what is that value to someone else of our 5 years of trying to build our own business? And does someone come in and like, all right, well, we're gonna, that was worth $100,000 to us, so give us $100,000 and we'll let you in. Well, no one's taking that deal either, so it is what it is. We're still trying to figure it out, and maybe we'll figure it out one day, or maybe someone will want to join us and be that guy who does the business. Right now it's me, and I'm really not that great at it. Like I'm already doing a lot of programming work, and then I'm answering emails, and I'm building a website that, I'm not really good at building websites, but it's one person can only, two people can only really wear so many hats. So it is what it is. I guess it's not like being a plumber. A plumber can be like, hey, you need a plumber, and that guy can run his own business. But for us, it's a little bit different because it's not everyone in South Jersey needs game developers.
Wasn't your market though international? Truly,
well, that's the thing. But you really got to be face to face with people to make these deals happen. We've tried doing some deals with people remotely and stuff, and a lot of it is selling yourself. It's not really selling the things you can do. You can show them that you can do it, but you really got to make an impression on them. They got to like you. Most of it is. Go ahead.
What % of the people you're interacting with men?
Most of them.
What % of them are geeks and nerds?
Not many of them at all.
They're business people or what?
Business people, scientists. Some of them are. I guess you could call them nerds because they're.
Here's just what I'm wondering. On your website, if you design it, you get some people to put together a nice profession, and you put a bunch of hot chicks with big cleavage and like meet Tina. She's deadly 100% serious. Deadly 100% serious. And then if you look at a hot cousin that you can enlist in your employ, like we need you to fly to Palo Alto and sell this to the nerds over there. Right?
You're talking about a salesperson, and
yeah.
And you want a salesperson to meet certain physical and attractiveness, because that's what's going to endow.
It's not going to be the product. I mean, come on.
Most people want to talk to someone because they're pretty, I guess, right? And my mother was a sales rep for a long time, and she made a lot of good money. She made the company she worked for a lot of money too.
Rob is very pretty. He makes that shredding company of his. A lot of people say, send Rob back. Firemen, construction workers, and Rob.
You also need someone who knows how to talk to people. Like, out of the two of us, I'm probably the one who can talk to people better. As bad as that sounds, but I'm not exactly Mr. Charisma either. And you need someone with a lot of charisma, and if they're not beautiful, they need a lot of charisma, or they need to be charming, or whatever.
No, they don't. They just don't need to give a fuck. That's all.
Well, perhaps.
Just don't give a fuck. It works better.
If you don't give a fuck, then that also is going to come off like it might come off as like confident, but also it might come off as like, well, if you don't care about my project, why am I going to hire you? I'm going to hire the guy. Well. I've had those people who want they want to buy into you because you have passion for their project, even if that passion is kind of surface level fake.
Manufactured,
yeah.
Right, but my experience, and granted, you have more business acumen and business experience than I do, so I'm kind of like, I guess, just kind of shooting shit out of my ass here to say this, but I've encountered it in just life in general, that when people are so caught up in, you have passion for their product, as you put it, and that's a big sell point to them. The people I've typically encountered, they're more worried about that, and they tend to be high maintenance. They're the ones that are emailing you and calling you every 5 minutes. And at least for me, it's like, oh my God, go the fuck away. And so that's why I guess when I kind of went, it's like, you know what? No, just let me do my thing. I'll fill you in as we go. And that's what I mean by, don't give a fuck, basically.
Well, I don't think you're wrong. You do have to have some level of not giving a fuck. So, but at the same time, like, we can do that by having the good cop, bad cop routine as well, because then they get both pieces of the pie. So Christian can be the bad cop and be like, I don't give a fuck. No, you didn't tell us that was on the scope of work. We're not doing that. And then I'm like, all right, well, hey, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a discount. We'll do it for another couple $1,000, and I'm the nice guy. So, and that works on them. And they're like, oh, well, his business partners, he's like, he don't give a fuck. He's willing to give up the deal. And we really like these guys. We want them to do the work. So, I mean, yeah, it's a little of both. I'm not telling you you're wrong, but
no. And even if you did, I'm okay with that.
But at the same time, you can't let them walk all over you. That's
damn
true.
straight. Yeah. Damn straight. You cannot let them fucking walk all over you. That for sure.
We learned that really early on, that we had a client, and he paid us a good chunk of money for this, somewhat easy job over a course of a month. But then he was really naggy and always harassing us to do more. And we're like, hey, it's not on the contract.
Mission creep.
Yeah, totally scope creep. And we made the product for him, and then he was like a middleman, right? He was like a graphic artist, but he was also the middleman. He had a client, and we were making the thing for his client essentially. But he totally either got his scope wrong or whatever. But when he showed it to them, they weren't satisfied, and we're like, well, we did what you told us to do. So you owe us the money. And so he paid us the money. And then he's like, well, hey, can you do this work? Here's 10 extra things or 5 extra things. If I pay you double your rate over the weekend, can you do this work? And Christian and I looked at each other and we're like, we don't know, because this guy's an asshole. But he's like, oh, well, first he says, if I pay you, will you do it over the weekend for Monday? And we're like, nah, because he was just too naggy and we didn't like him. And then he's like, all right, well, how about if I double it? And I looked at Christian and said, all right, well, if you double it, I mean, we could do this in the weekend. It's not that much work. And so did
you get that in writing?
Yeah. But then he stiffed us. We lost $12,000 because of that.
Half up front
and
half upon completion.
Well, we got a quarter up front, and then
half. Remember the Batman movie? What do you want? Half.
I told you.
You're crazy.
I'm only burning my half.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
That's also a hard conversation to have with a lot of people.
No. It's really not. It's half or we leave.
Or they leave and then
too bad.
Well, you say that now, but when you don't have a job and you're starving and you want to get your friends and family a Christmas present,
right? But did you have a daytime job while you were doing this, or did you quit cold turkey?
Cold turkey.
Oh,
yeah.
That's asshole consulting, ladies and gentlemen. Assholeconsulting.com. Where we'll only charge half.
We ended up, getting a lawyer and paying. Well, actually, the lawyer we didn't end up paying the lawyer because they came in and did a free 2-hour consultation. But they wanted $2,000 to sue this guy, and they were like, "Oh, well, we think we have a case. He owes you the money. It's right here, and you got the paperwork." But he's like, "How far are you willing to go for it?" And we were like, "All right, so if we give you $2,000, can we get the other 10?" And they're like, well, I don't know, maybe. So we're like, all right, well, fuck it. And then my dad he's like, I'll write you a letter. So my dad ended up writing a very lawyerly sounding letter to these guys, or this guy. And he ended up settling, and he gave us half the money, which is basically what we would have charged him anyway if it wasn't over the weekend. But
you got screwed.
We got screwed, and he's still in the area. And every once in a while, we see him, and oh man, like
you're not tempted to run him over with your car.
No, but it's like Christian will be like, dude, he's over there, and I'm like, fuck that guy.
Pretty much. No, you don't run. How often do you run into that though? That's like
maybe once or a year, every other
Yeah.
year, or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Collection. Yeah, that is true. Judgments are easy. Collections are hard. You can't get blood from a stone. In some cases.
But sometimes you can get it from a turnip.
Well, the lawyers
That's
did
what
say that.
that's what I hear. Yes.
The lawyers said you could totally win, and he'll still won't pay. So.
That's an old one. That's I'm just flashbacks to my father.
I got a question. How the hell do you get the dog shit to burn? Does dog shit naturally burn? Is it naturally flammable?
You have to.
I know. I wonder.
You do have to get it to a certain temperature, Aaron.
Yeah, you may want to bring. You have to bring here. Aaron, you have to bring a little bit of lighter fluid with it.
Okay, so there's an accelerant that you add.
There is an accelerant. Yeah, it's not. It's not this. It's Hollywood. Hollywood lied to you about the easy burning of the dog shit.
How do you know this?
I can't tell you. No, I've seen it done though.
Not participating though, right?
I did not participate in that.
Speaking
of when I was younger,
high school pranks. We used to do all kinds of silly stuff in college in the dorms where we would lean a big giant trash. Well, I didn't do this.
Yeah, okay.
But my buddies did it. Lean a big giant trash can filled with water on the guy's door and knock on the door and they'd open it.
It would just cascade down upon them.
Yeah. And then there's the other one was poke a hole in a shaving cream can and throw it in the room.
Oh, like a shaving cream grenade.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
So, I don't know. You just reminded me of these fun memories.
There you go. Rob's taking notes.
Dude, you have no idea.
I was like, wait a minute, shaving cream can. Mustard seed on lawns as revenge. Moons a little Leo flower. Oh, okay. That was my next question, Chest. Interesting. It's like a bit of a persistent weed.
I love it. So Chest wrote the book, Revenge, How to Get Even.
There you go.
So, really?
Obviously, since mustard seed on lawns, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Yep.
We're not going to fall for no banana in the tailpipe, Bull Rush.
Hey, I ain't falling for no damn banana in my tailpipe.
We're not going to fall for no banana in the tailpipe. Yeah.
You got to do it the Eddie Murphy style from what movie was that?
Not Rush Hour.
No.
Beverly Hills Cop.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah. We're not going to fall for a banana in the tailpipe. No, you got to say it like a man, Hey, I ain't going to fall for no banana in the tailpipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. See?
That was what, 82, 84?
Something like that, yeah.
DJ wasn't even around it.
No, I don't think I
wasn't even a gleam in his daddy's eye.
I don't think I was allowed to see that. I was probably too young, actually. In the theater, anyway.
Well, they didn't have booster seats.
They didn't have booster seats.
TJ's doing good. Look at him. He's getting some in there.
Sugar in the gas tank. There you go.
No, just take it to an Arco's.
An Arco?
Arco gas. Oh, I don't know if it's in your part of the country, but
no.
Arco gas stations are notorious for having watered down gasoline.
Oh, okay.
Like the one guy, I can't remember who it was, but he put some in his tank and his dad siphoned it out and showed how much of it was actually water or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, that's why it's always cheaper than other fueling gas stations. It's always going to be cheaper, but it's the bad grade. There were some lessons my dad taught me when I was a kid, and he said, "Don't ever, 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 ever fill up your gas for your car at an Arco." That was one of the things that I didn't question, and he turned out to be completely right. So never done.
I never filled up at Citgo because they're owned by the communist Venezuelans. And now you can't fill up at Citgo because the communist Venezuelans can't even operate their gas stations here in the United States. That's how bad they're doing communism. It's pretty funny. They're one productive asset in the world, oil overseas, and they still manage to fuck it up.
Yeah,
fuck it up. That's great. That's great. You know what they do have a lot of in Venezuela? Well, it's not in Venezuela, but they export it to Colombia.
I don't know.
Their daughters. Prostitution is still good. Imagine that. Imagine that. Prostitution is still in demand. But the men in Venezuela can't afford that.
They will always be in demand.
Yeah. How bad is it in the country? It's so bad we wish to move to Colombia. That's how bad it is in Venezuela right now.
That is very, it's both sad and tragic.
All right, guys, I got to take off because I'm tired. I'm beaten. I'm gonna go to bed.
You look pretty tired. You look like you just fell down an elevator shaft.
I'm in a competition. You mean in a John McClane sort of way, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
absolutely.
that's what I thought.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm in this Fitbit competition with Atham and the gang.
There you go. And where are you going to be in 3 weeks, Aaron? You want to tell the gang?
I was thinking about riding the motorcycle out there, actually, if the weather permitted.
Really?
Because that way I can make it doubly embarrassing for you that I've driven my motorcycle out twice now to see you.
No, you haven't.
I drove there once on my motorcycle the first time we met.
When you drove down to Silver Springs.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I did not know you did that.
Just came to see you, Vincent, and it really hurt my feelings, that you forgot about that so quickly.
I don't care.
Thank you.
You guys are all getting your motorcycles. You're going to be moving out to North Dakota soon?
Yes. We're going to start a commune.
What is the name of that town out there?
Sturgis, South Dakota.
Yeah, South Dakota.
And I bought TJ some training wheels at Target for his little Huffy bike that he can start working on. And then
Bullrush has a question for Aaron.
Oh, all right.
Is that a public question, Bullrush, or a private question?
What's the delay on the chat room?
I don't know.
Oh, what does Aaron's? Oh, what does Aaron's T-shirt say? So this. Oh, hang on.
Well, that's a different question, but
this is my millennial costume trophy, please. I got that for Halloween. And when I'm tired, I don't want to dress up.
Aaron, here's your question from Bullrush. Well, it's a very serious question.
It's very well. Why don't you talk to somebody who's a thought leader and a life coach? I'm sure he has all the answers.
There's a professional influencer out there. Let's just say her age starts at 60.
You get the girls by not even thinking about it, and you go do your own damn shit.
There you go.
And then they usually share. That's the simplest and most. However, your shit can't be sitting in the basement jerking off the porn. It has to be like what's his name? Adam Piggott, like you're a whitewater rafter. That's pretty cool. All right, that's neat. You're a motorcyclist, you're a guitar player, you're something.
You're a salsa dancer.
You could be a dancer, yes. I'm trying to, no, not necessarily things I've done, but something I don't know what else there is to do, frankly.
Fossil hunting.
That has never gotten me laid.
Swashbuckling.
Yeah, if you walk around with a knife in your mouth and
or you're playing D&D with your friends, there you go.
Look, basically do the opposite TJ does. Okay, find out what TJ does and just do the opposite. Okay?
I always just talk to you first, Aaron. So
yeah, but I give you the wrong advice because I like seeing you flail. It's like, let's watch TJ flail. Oh, okay. Here's a serious one. Here's a serious one. I'm not joking about this. Honest to God, get a little kid or a dog with you. That just blows everything out of the water. Like, with my little nieces, I walk around with them. Holy shit. Women are practically like, can you help me undo my pants? No, I don't even need your number. I just want to have sex with you now behind that bush. I see you're good with children. And then a good dog like Reese, you got a little dog. Oh my God. Forget dance classes, forget the gym. Just get yourself a dog.
That's pure panty peeler.
Yeah, or a little child. Just a little child, hey, call me Unca Aaron. Okay, fine. You rent a kid. I don't know, it'd be $1 million idea. But that's how I'd recommend getting the girls. And it takes the least amount of effort. You don't have to develop personality. You don't have to work on yourself. You could be a slob loser, unemployed welfare collecting pedophile. They'll still think you're great because you got a puppy. It's
we're not recommending, that you
actually be a
would hope you would
pedophile. No.
aspire to something higher than that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, just what a steroid booster I've seen dogs and little kids be with the fairer sex, and not until I had nieces did I have any clue. And then when they say, "Are they yours?" No, I'm their uncle. It's like, okay, just calm down. I'm only 5'8", sometimes 5'9". It's
Depends on what shoes you're wearing.
sure.
Yeah, Cappy's. Oh, you can buy him platform shoes, right?
Hey.
Go to his affiliate link, and you'll get the platform shoes. So then he can measure.
Yeah.
Spirit Airline flying. Yeah.
There you go. That gets the girls. Yeah. Damn right.
Aaron, are you flying Spirit out?
No, I decided to join you elitist. I'm flying American because I don't think Spirit flies out to Philly.
He's flying coach. You know, he's moving.
Of course I am. What do you guys fly? Who here affords first class?
You'd fly with the luggage in the back.
You fly with the chicken coop and the fucking chickens in the.
You know,
Spirit.
there's a benefit. Rob,
Yes.
is there not a benefit? You and I are going to have very comfortable flights, aren't we?
I'm gonna have a great flight.
We're gonna we can even stretch back a little bit because we are in the Short Man's Club of America.
Right.
All
TJ's
fuckers
gonna be
get to have
sitting next
blood
to me.
clots.
Yeah.
Yep. You guys
TJ's
won't
gonna be
feel
sitting
your
next to
ankles.
me on the flight out, and his knees are gonna be all pushed up,
Yeah,
into
scrunched up
the
here.
seat,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna
He's
be
gonna be-
stretched out, taking a nap.
Girls
Yeah.
are gonna be fanning you with palm leaves,
Feeding me grapes.
feeding you grapes.
Yeah.
Eating your.
TJ's gonna be like, "Is this flight over yet?" And be like, "What are you talking about? I just got in a good nap. What, it's been a great flight."
All right, I gotta get going. I'll see you guys. All right.
Yes,
All
you
right.
will.
You're
Thank
around.
you for having me.
Of course.
But seriously, he's right about the dog. I can attest.
Oh,
to that.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That is very, very true. Gabe, is there anything you want to impart to aspiring young game developers who are just starting out?
Yeah. I think if people want to be game developers, they have to make games.
Well,
That's a good place to start. And there's never been a time where it's easier to make games. So the tools are out there. A lot of them are free for to start. I mean, if you're not making $100,000, nobody's going to ask you for to pay for a license or anything like that. So there's no excuse to not get the ball rolling. And then there's YouTube and all these different tutorials that you can go and do online that can just get the ball rolling, to get you making a game. And even if that game is some stupid little game that nobody will ever play, at least it's a game you made. And then the next one's going to be better, and the next one's going to be better than that. I have an account on itch.io where I just started. In the past, I never really, I would make stuff and they would just sit on my hard drive and nobody would ever see them. So another thing I would say is that if you do start making games and you want to get, jobs and you want to go work in the industry, what they're looking for, and I'm not just saying this because I have a business and I'm telling you what I'm looking for, but I've gone and over the last 10 years, I've talked to a lot of the hiring managers and stuff, and they want to know that you can do it. They don't care that you've gone to school. It helps. But if you make a fun game that other people hear about, or you have a portfolio of games that they can see that you can do the work, whether you're a programmer or you're an artist or you're a programmer and an artist, or or even if you're a musician that wants to make soundtracks and you have a portfolio of work that you've contributed to, right?
That's true. I don't really think too much about the music that gets involved in, but that's a separate entity unto itself.
Yeah, well, everything goes into making games, and build yourself a portfolio. Like I was saying, it's I would just make this stuff and I would throw it on my hard drive and I would never look at it again. And this past year, I've been you know what? I'm going to start taking all this stuff that I've been working on, and I'm just going to be putting them in my own personal portfolio. This is even the stuff that Christian and I do as Quadratron Games. This is just me personally. I want to have a portfolio of my work and things that I've contributed to, and I started putting together a list. Well, I have on my website. There's a list of all the things I've worked on so far. There's like a dozen or more things on there now. But I'm going back and I'm taking all these old projects that I had, even shitty ones that, the thing is, like, a game is a game and it can be fun. And a lot of the polish that goes into the game is what kind of attracts people to it. So, I'm taking a lot of these old shitty games that, didn't look great, but they were fun to play. And I'm polishing them up and I'm putting them out there, and they're all for free on my itch.io account. And you start to kind of build notoriety for yourself if people see that you have taken something from an idea to completion, right? That's what's more important to them. That you can. What is that movie? Joe versus the Volcano. I don't know if anyone's ever seen this.
Oh shit! I saw that in the movie. Yeah, it's just horrendous.
So Joe's in his office and it's got this horrible like flickering light, and it's all pasty and pale and green or whatever. And the boss is on the phone and he's like, "I know he can get the job, but can he do the job?" And he just keeps saying that over and over again. And it's kind of true. Like. We don't care if you can get the job, like if you got a degree, right? They want to know if you can do the job. So if you show them that you've taken 10 games in a portfolio from, like, even if they're stupid and they're not, they don't look great, but you've taken it from an idea, like, I wanted to make a game where you had 2 joysticks and one moved you and one shot bullets and killed enemies. And if you hit an enemy, you died. Like, it's super simple. And and you make it, and you go from the beginning. You make all the game mechanics, and then you have a game over screen, and then you put some pretty colors in there to make it look good, and then you put it out for everyone to see, and people will notice. And when you go and you talk to people, and you're like, "Hey, I want to get into game development," and they'll be like, "Well, what have you made?" And you go, "Oh, I made these 10 games over the last 2 or 3 years," and then like, oh, okay, you got a business card? What tools do you use? What language do you program in? You do art too. Oh, that's cool. What show me some of your portfolio, your art portfolio. So and then if you're an artist and you think, oh, I'm not a programmer, I can't do that, that's bullshit. There's so many tools out there that are so abstract, like you don't even need to program sometimes to make a full game. You don't need to do any kind of programming. And programming is not as scary as everyone seems to think it is. It's actually pretty logical and mundane. So you can find the tools, and if you got the tools, Unreal Engine, of course, has blueprints, which is a visual scripting. Unity is going to be putting that in, I think, in the next number update or whatever it is, 2019.3 or something like that. They might get it, or maybe it's 2020 or something like that. But there's plugins for a lot of the game engines, Game Maker, where it's just visual programming, and it's the same concepts, it's the same ideas. So like you have like variables, you have like conditions, you have input and output and stuff like that, and it's just like a visual way of programming. And then if you learn that, it'll be a lot easier to dive into actually writing code. Well, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But maybe high school wasn't the best place to figure out how to learn how to code. Maybe doing it on your own or doing it with someone who actually knows what they're doing is probably a better way. I'm not saying that a teacher probably wouldn't know, but it was probably
first you become a reporter, You lose your job, and then you get told on Twitter to learn how to code.
Learn to code. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's like, hey,
Woo!
I didn't want to be a pharmacist, but hell, if I didn't make a lot of good money doing it, sometimes you just do what you got to do. And I still have a license. So if everything fails and I am about to lose my house and
it's your plan B.
I got a plan B.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't go and be a game designer and be a rock star, but I can go back to work and make some money.
Right.
Here's an interesting thing. Now I'm just rambling, but this was like a few years in. But I went to GDC, Game Developers Conference. It's out in San Francisco. I've been going to it for the last 10 years. Actually, I didn't go this year. I don't know if I'm going to go anymore. I went for 10 years. I think it's a lot of going to San Francisco for a conference. I might go again. I might not. I don't know. I'm reaching a point where I don't really get much out of it anymore. But what was I going to say? Oh, so I went. And this was like when I first started trying to get into it. And I would go to GDC and I would go to these conferences and I would go into a session. And one of the sessions was this fella that I had been following or something like that, a game designer, game developer.
Mm-hmm.
And, they get these rock star game designers out there and everyone wants to talk to them. You made such and such game. You're an awesome person. And turns out they're just normal people. And they just were lucky. They got, they were in the right place at the right time, or they made something beautiful and everyone, saw it and, whatever. And so I'm in this session and this guy's giving a talk about how he made things work. He's like, but, that's how I made it work. The way you do it's going to be completely different. And nothing I tell you is probably going to work for you. So take what I say with a grain of salt. And then someone asked him the question. It's like, all right, well, I want to be a game developer, but I got to go to work. How do I both go to work and work on the game I want to make? And the guy looked at him. He's like, well, you don't. And he's like, what do you mean I don't? How am I ever going to be a game developer if I don't make a game? He's like, well, go to work, make some money, take half of it and put it away. Take out of everything you make, take half of that, put it in the bank. Now we're assuming you can do something like that. You don't have kids and a wife and a big mortgage and stuff. But take as much money as you can and put it away. And his statement was that if you can put half your money away, you can live on half of it. And then that other half, you can quit your job and you can use that half to finance yourself for a year. So if you do that for 5 years, save up 5 years worth of money, then you can take 5 years off. So I heard this and I was like, well, that's a fucking brilliant idea. So I took half my money and I put it away and I never touched it. And I did that for a couple of years. And then one day I was like, well, fuck my job. I hate it. I quit. And, it's a longer story than that. And Vince has heard it probably multiple times. And he's like, stop telling that story. But,
yeah, it's a very good story.
But I didn't just quit my job and what am I going to do now? I'm starving to death. I saved a ton of money and I burned through it all, but I went to work. And I think that's important that people, a lot of people, I'm not going to get on the Aaron's hate millennial bandwagon, but I have friends, people I know that they have a hard time coming to terms with this idea that, you got to do something shitty for a while to make your life better.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's basically putting in the work.
Yeah, you got to put in the work. And, maybe I didn't feel that way when I was 24. Maybe I hated my job, but I went to work every day and I did it until I could figure out how to make something better.
Mm-hmm.
And then I worked towards making it better. And it took a very long time. And, if you're 25 or 26 and you're like, well, fuck, how do I quit my day job? Well, maybe you don't. Maybe you go to work for another 5 years and you make a plan and you put some money away and you implement a plan over a course of time so that after 20 years, of me working as a pharmacist, I was in a position where I could do things, right? and I could take risks. And hell, would I have loved it if I was 25 and could do it? Sure. But maybe it doesn't happen when you're 25. Maybe it takes 20 years to get to a part where you can take risks. Or maybe you can take risks when you're 20 and you can still hang out with your parents, and you and your girlfriend don't have a house yet, and you haven't had kids, and you don't have all these responsibilities. Maybe you can take a risk then. But if you're like 28, 32 or whatever, and you're wanting to take a risk, hopefully you planned for it, because if you're not planning, then it's probably not going to end well. So, and it's not necessarily perfect for me either. And I planned and I put lots of money away. And I had a fortune, not a fortune of money, but I was fortunate enough to be in a position I was in because I dealt with the bullshit for so long. So, long story short, don't get all worked up because you're working in a shitty job, or maybe you don't like everything the way it is now, or maybe you have to get something that isn't your first choice, but you'll get there eventually, and you can plan to get there, and you'll find a way. So if you want to make games, make games. That's the last thing I'm gonna say.
There you go. And you mentioned something earlier that was interesting too about making games and actually, putting in the work and just go ahead and doing it and learning yourself. And you didn't come out and say don't go to college, but it didn't seem like you're a huge advocate of it. Well, as far as a computer game focus.
I think college serves a role, and that role is to kind of give you the information you need to figure out what the hell you're doing with yourself. So I wouldn't go to college thinking that you're going to get a job from college. That's not what college is. And maybe, and I don't want to put words in the mouths of these institutions, but I think a lot of people in our society have this feeling like, well, if I just go to college, I'll get out and I'll get a job. I don't think it's like that. I think you go to college to get brains and smarts and knowledge, and you use those knowledges to figure out what the fuck you're doing in life. And maybe it takes you a little while to figure it out completely, but they give you the start. So if you want to go to college for game design, I would kind of like, don't do that. I would, and I'm sorry, I forget your guys' names, but someone said it. Now I'm losing my train of thought. But you're going to college to learn stuff. So be a programmer, right? Mm-hmm. So if you want to make games, have something that people value. Like if you can make art, and I just don't mean like doodling. Like there's a lot of doodlers out there. There's a lot of doodlers who can doodle really well, and there's a lot of people who can create pretty things, beautiful things that people wish that they could do. It doesn't mean that they actually can apply that. But if you figure out how to do something really well, also try to figure out how to do it well so that you can make a living out of it. If you can make beautiful art, and that is your way to get into the game industry, do what's needed to be a good artist for game industry. Don't be a doodler. Or if you want to be a programmer, or if you want to make games and you want to be a game designer, learn how to program. Learn how to create the gameplay that you want to implement. Don't be the idea guy we were talking about before, because that idea guy, everyone's an idea guy. I'm an idea guy. But I can make my own things. I don't need someone else to do my ideas. I can make my own ideas.
Exactly.
I don't need the idea guy to come to me and tell me his idea, because, that's great. I can make my own ideas. So why should I make yours for free when I can make mine for free too? Right. So if you're going to go to school can provide you with tons and tons of resources of things that you won't have access to as an individual. And networks of people that you won't meet otherwise, unless you do go to school. But that doesn't mean that you can't learn outside of school the things you need to know. So don't feel that you have to go to school. But if you want to go to school, especially if you're younger, go to school and soak up all that knowledge that those people have to share with you, especially if you're going to pay $10,000, $20,000 a year. Soak that stuff up, because those people, maybe they're not the best person in the field, but they know shit. So why not understand it? And also, I think if you go to school, I don't know. I went for computer science, and I didn't end up getting the degree. You know why? Because I didn't feel like taking Calc 3 or something like that, or physics for engineers. I wasn't going to be an engineer, so why the fuck did I need to take physics for engineers? But that's what the prerequisite was. But I took all of the computer science stuff, and I took more than I needed. And I'm not the greatest programmer. Christian's way better than I am, but take the courses that are actually going to get you somewhere, or move you forward, give you some bit of knowledge that you can utilize. It's great to do learning for just learning's sake. Or, I'm going to take this literature course and I'm going to learn all about. Unless you're going to be a literature professor or you're going to apply that in some way. I mean, that's just background. You can do that on your own. Maybe not pay someone $20,000 for that class. Pay them for the things that they're going to teach you how to do the job. I kind of feel both ways on that. But if you have a lot of money and a lot of time and you don't have to worry about getting a job, sure, go to college and become a philosopher. We need them, but I don't think anyone's going to pay for a game designer. That's and I don't want to shoo anyone away from that. If you're got great ideas and you want to be a game designer, go for it. But do something more practical, is my opinion. And that could be art, that could be writing, that could be programming, but do it in a practical sense, because you're never going to be able to get that practical stuff from the real world as well as you can get it from some professional that's at a institution like that. And you have to pick out your institution wisely as well. And I don't know. That's my thoughts on that. I don't think it's a bad idea to go to college, especially if you're young. I don't think it's a bad idea to go to college if you're older, but it's a lot of money, and if it's a lot of money, you better be getting your money's worth and being able to apply that.
Exactly.
So I went to school to be a pharmacist. Like, that curriculum was about being a pharmacist. Like,
that was specific. Exactly.
It was very specific, and but you have to be very specific to be that. Like, there's so much knowledge that when you come out of there, like, you literally just know where to look for the answers, and you don't remember half of it. But I think the same thing for programmers and an artist and things. Learn how to do your trade, and then use that trade to do your dream. There's a guy online. His name is Trent Kanuga or something like that. He's an artist. I think he's a pretty awesome artist, and he's making a living. He makes art for Blizzard and Riot.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So he's like one of the artists, the concept artists that did Diablo 3.
Oh, really?
World of Warcraft.
Oh,
and
okay.
and we had talked about him he wanted to make a game, and we were talking to him, but it didn't work out. And but he ended up actually making his own game. He taught himself game maker, and he took his art and he made a game out of it, and he released it for free on Steam. So you can do that. You can be Trent. He's got some really cool videos on YouTube. If anyone's an artist, they should go watch his videos. And he's very down to earth and very much like telling it as it is. Like, you can't be a dreamer all the time. You have to be practical too.
No, well said. Well said.
I am ranting too much. So.
No, that's why that's why you've joined us. We don't care about that.
It's getting close to my bedtime.
And it's getting close to our signing off time. As far as your rambling was concerned, we enjoyed it, and it's also well timed.
Oh,
we're gonna be signing off in about 4 minutes. So yeah, so that's perfect.
Then I made it the whole course of the.
You did. You ran the gauntlet and you survived. Well done, sir. And I want to thank you for coming on and imparting your experiences.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. I would just stay for the extra few minutes, because we're going to go through some housekeeping. And so, in fact, Gabe, where can people find you?
Zenasprime.net. ZENASPRIME.net. I guess I could just type it and you can post it.
Put that in the private chat and I'll post that for everybody. Yeah. And you are work for hire.
Yeah, and our company's called Team Quadratron or Quadratron Games.
Throw that in there. Throw that in there too. Yeah. Yeah.
Our website needs a lot of work. Yeah, it's hard. And then you can also find me on Twitter at Zenas Prime. But I fucking hate Twitter. I'm on there because it's like a love-hate relationship. But God, I just want to like hit the delete button on that and go out in the woods or something.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Twitter can be. That's why I stay away from a lot of.
I don't.
A lot of stuff.
I don't like social media. I think it's horrible for us as people. I think it's not community. It's people screaming at the wind.
A lot of people are pissing into the void. Yes, it's what Rob and I and TJ often say is, vote with your time and you vote with your attention. And there's certain. I mean, Rob has a good mindset about Twitter. He uses it to fuck off and just be silly. And that's
shitpost.
And shitpost.
I mean, I guess it can be cathartic as well.
Yeah,
I follow a bunch of game developers, and I want to like things that inspire me. I want to share, and that's the only place that game developers go. I wish they were somewhere else.
Well, there's that too. I mean, Twitter fundamentally is just it's stuff, people's thoughts, and both good and bad, positive and negative in real time, whether you like it or not. And then you can mute certain words, you can mute people, or you can just say whatever, let it roll over you, and just do your own thing. For the most part, I ignore everything.
Yeah.
We just post what we want, and everyone else can go lick. So I stay out of politics. No drama, no gossip posting, none of that crap. So time, we're grown ass men. We don't have time for that bullshit. So
right.
But yes, D. We are all geeks, and what up? Twitter, a brothel of shower thoughts. Wow, that is completely poetic, and I am going to steal that.
A brothel of shower thoughts.
I love it. I'm just going to take. Here's what I'm going to do. And this is my idea, but you can feel free to use it as well. This is an open source idea. Go through these chats. Bull rush. I'm not. Go through these chats and just pull out funny anecdotes and throw them into a poem. And then Rob will recite it for you.
Like poetry magnets on your refrigerator?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, like exactly. And then Rob will go ahead, or we'll have Jack do it as well. Rob and Jack can give voice to it. It'd be like a spoken word poetry slam. But anyway, so that is it for this evening. Everyone, thank you for joining us once again, making Wednesdays magnificent. We're Masculine Geek. Every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. And then twice a month, we do our Saturday morning cartoon hour, which is more than an hour, but it sounds good. TJ, where can people find you?
You can find me at tjmartinell.com, and all my books, my podcast will all be there. You're smart people, you'll figure it out.
Exactly.
Buy the books. But buy the books. I mean,
buy the books, yes.
Preferably read the books after you buy them, but buy the books nonetheless.
Yes, and leave a review. Yes, that's important. And Rob, where can people find you?
You guys can find me where you always find me. You can find me shit posting on Twitter at robsays__. You can find me at my flagship, which is robsays.net, which has all my links to everything. And you can also find me on YouTube. Just type in Rob Says. You'll find me that way. That is my handle on YouTube as well. But you can find all of that shit, my newsletter, everything at robsays.net.
Fantastic. And I'm doing most of my writing on masculinegeek.com and my own private writing projects, one of which I'll be teaming up with TJ to bring a book of his to screenplay form. So Look out for that.
It's happening.
Anyway, it's happening, yes. So there we go, everyone. Once again, enjoy your evening. Until next time, keep the fires burning and keep moving forward.